careful about, are we doing movements that are actually going to help us, on field or on court, but also looking at not just, improving our function on court, but reducing our injury. There's a lot of injuries in sports. Having worked with footballers, obviously hamstring injuries are huge. So putting in the work, whether it's prehab or even rehab, just to sort of, cut off those injuries.
Welcome back to episode 7 of the Wellness Podcast. You're with Matt, Jake, and our special guest today, Beck. Thanks, Beck, for joining us.
Yeah.
It's good to get you on. We'll go through a bit of a chat today with Becca around her background in sporting organisations. So to start with, Beck, just give us a bit of an intro to yourself and how long you've been working at Casey Race.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm one of the newer trainers at Casey Race, so those of you may have seen me a little bit more recently. I've probably only been here for about 4 or 5 months now. But yeah, as you said, I've got a little bit of experience in some of the sporting organisations. So I worked for 2 years at the Rowville Sports Academy doing some strength and conditioning there, and then sort of progressed on to the Frankston VFL Football Club. So I was there for 2 years now, and I'm still there now, just in some different roles. So yeah, really, really fantastic experience. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, excellent. So how, are you, differing between the members here and then, athletes that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah, it's been an interesting change because obviously a lot of what I've done in the last few years has been sort of focused towards athletes, but that's one of the reasons I sort of wanted to work at Casey Race, was a broader experience, so, a broader audience. So, the more niche audience that we get here, it's a lot of general population, it's a lot of, people wanting to lose weight, you wanting to put on muscle, things like that. So it's been a change, but I think I've really, really enjoyed it. So
excellent. We do get all walks of life that come through Casey Race and all different types of goals as well. And we still get our athletes come through as well who, specialise in different sorts of training and stuff. Do you have any advice you'd probably give out or? Yeah,
for sure. Obviously, athletes in different sports, each sport has a different requirement, so therefore the training requirements are different for each athlete. So my advice would probably be, looking at your sport, what are you doing in the gym that's specific to your sport? Obviously we want to be functional in the gym, but we don't want to be doing movements that aren't really necessary to our sport. So just being, really careful about, are we doing movements that are actually going to help us, on field or on court, but also looking at not just, improving our function on court, but reducing our injury. There's a lot of injuries in sports. Having worked with footballers, obviously hamstring injuries are huge. So putting in the work, whether it's prehab or even rehab, just to sort of, cut off those injuries.
Very true. So you're working with football players previously at the moment. What type of training do they kind of do?
Intense, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, it varies. So, obviously with football, it's almost a 12-month sport in the end, because, you've got the off season, which is a good chance to put on some size. You've got pre-season, which you can break up into different phases. So at the moment, we're sort of in a pre-Christmas phase of pre-season. So we're putting on size, but we're also developing like our base conditioning, so aerobic fitness. You're sort of looking at like your 2-kilometre time trials, yo-yo tests, long bouts of conditioning, but it's never like a 10-kilometre run. It's more broken up into shorter bursts, more relevant to football. But then there's post-Christmas, and then there's lead up to round 1, and then there's also in-season as well. So the training requirements for each of those parts are just so different.
So what does that look like? So when putting together like a training plan for a specific player, does the clubs and organisations have a specific one that they run everyone through, or is it itemised for the individual? What kind of goes into that, and how much detail goes into some of these, the more elite level clubs versus, what we would do here potentially for someone that was to come and speak to you around, they're playing might be Div 1 in a local football club, and they've now heard that you've got some experience and they want to come and have a chat. What would you first set up someone, and then how does it translate through to in the more elite sport as well?
Yeah, so answer that first part, what does it look like with the VFL boys or footy clubs at the moment? It's, an upper body strength program, a lower body strength program, a full body strength program, and then conditioning through training, and also some off legs conditioning as well. That could be, a bike session or a rower, this or that. Especially at this phase pre-Christmas, but touching on how does it look throughout the year. Obviously, post-Christmas, you sort of start to change up. You're moving into power movements rather than putting on size. So you're looking at power and specificity. So for things like footy, jump and land, it's broad jumps, vertical jumps, things like that sort of bring in that element. And as you get closer to round one, it sort of tones down a little bit. It becomes a bit more maintenance. We want to keep everything we built pre-season and maintain that throughout the year. And it's similar, whether it's Div 1, VFL, AFL, that same concept still applies. It's obviously, I guess, how difficult the program is, but also with someone who's playing Div 1, maybe they're not wanting to play AFL, so the guts of the program are going to be a little bit different. Maybe we're not, doing 3 sessions a week. Maybe the expectation is 2 strength programs, 2 conditioning programs. So
nice. It's
obviously got to be flexible to each athlete, but the guys that play Div 1 working full time. So I guess correct. The reality of their availability is just a little bit different.
Very true.
And for your just your everyday community person that just likes to get out there on a Saturday and have a kick of the football, takes it serious but just enjoys it with their mates. Is there anything that you would suggest that they would look to do in the gym? Like, is it definitely the recovery that's most important, especially getting older, your 30s, 40s, 50s? I'm sure there's people out there, 60s, running around, even umpires, that are doing sports. Is there something that you would say to those guys, hey, if you want to be able to prolong that for as long as possible, is some secrets there as well?
Recovery is huge. Can't stress the importance. And specifically, as you start to get older and you're working full-time jobs that potentially is a labour job, recovery and also like prehab, huge. Obviously, if you're Div 1 player and you do an injury in football, that affects your working life, that affects your income. Yep. So, you're looking at recovery in the form of both hydration and nutrition. So, are you replacing what you've lost? You get some players that lose, 2-3 kilos of sweat in a game. So, we obviously need to replace that. We normally look at about 1.5 litres per kilo or something along those lines. But there are some players who put on weight during a game just from refueling. Recovery as well, ice baths, whether it's a bath just at home.
Yep.
You've obviously got, Theraguns, massage, compression, garments, things like that.
Yep.
And your prehab in the form of, if you look at football again with the hamstring strain, Nordics. So Nordics, obviously, hamstring tension while it's in the extended position, but you've also got something like a hamstring curl.
Yep.
So while the muscle is contracting in that concentric.
And then also just for our members, obviously, that are here in the gym, that they've got access to the warm water pool, the main pool, spa sauna steam room, for a bit of a relaxation as well. So I guess that's important for us, for our members, that's some of those facilities they have on offer.
That's something we do quite a lot with the footy boys is, in the hydrotherapy pool, straight into the spa, straight into the sauna.
Yeah.
We do rotations of that all the time. So and obviously here at Casey Race, the access is unbelievable from gym to hydro. So it's all here.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. So what's your long-term goals?
Ooh, tricky question. So next year I'm looking at studying a Master of Clinical Exercise Physiology. So I want to move into those sort of niche, I guess, chronic injuries, whether through sports performance still with athletes or even just if I find an area that I really like and I want to branch off into.
Nice.
I think I really just want to make a difference in people's lives. I've got family members who, struggle with arthritis and they weren't able to be, athletic or come into the gym as much because of pain. Yep. I want to help people in that position feel like, they're able to move, they're able to get the exercise that they need in their day-to-day life. So I'm sort of hoping I'll figure out the niches along the way, but I'm just enjoying the ride at the moment. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing and, I'm obviously a big sports fan, so working with athletes in a sports environment is something I really enjoy. So.
Yeah. So for any of our members out there that obviously are coming to, as this drops, this podcast will be the last night, I guess, of the challenge. So if you have, you're looking to return to sport even, you might have played sport when you're a bit younger and, you've had the family life and now you're interested in getting back into it and you're not sure how the body may hold up, make sure you check in with Beck here and have a conversation so that you can really set yourself up for success. Or if you are currently playing sport, drop in and have a 30-minute check-in with Beck and just talk through some of those issues you might be having, and it might be just changing up that that workout plan to suit more of your tailored needs to get the best from your body and just to ultimately just enjoy what you're doing and do it freely. So that's something there for our members that can definitely do that. So have you been taking some classes as well up in the gym?
I have been, yeah. So at the moment I'm taking the 9:30 adrenaline strength on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I've got some regulars that come every week. This morning it was actually pumping. So
that's good.
Good class to get down to. I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, nice.
That structure of, running the class, that rapport that you build with the members you see every week. It's so enjoyable, so I definitely recommend if you're not doing a class Thursday mornings.
And also the adrenaline recovery class that launched on Wednesday night as well. So Beck, you attended that one and you can vouch for that, but it's worth it.
I loved every moment. I'm somebody who's very active, but also my muscles get very tight no matter what I do. It must be something genetic. But I went to that recovery class. My goodness. Yeah. I felt so much better. Like instant relief. I slept amazing after it as well, just because I felt more relaxed. So I also recommend that class 100%.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
And I guess how 8-week challenges coming to end? How have your clients been throughout?
Yeah, I think a lot of my clients really wanted that structure and that routine with exercise. A lot of them at the start were sort of going, I want to come to the gym. I've got this membership, but I don't have that relationship with exercise yet. So a lot of it at the start was just accountability. Okay, are you coming? The amount of days you wanted to come, were you able to stay consistent? And for a few of them they were, and they were thriving in the beginning, but some of them it took a little bit longer.
Yeah,
and that's okay. Like the first step is, committing to that 8-week challenge and knowing that that's your goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of my clients, now the relationship that they've developed with exercise is super positive, and that's not only great for the 8-week challenge, but beyond. They now enjoy coming to the gym. They enjoy working out. Coming to the gym is just a part of their day now. It's, all right, what are you doing on Friday? Oh, I've got the gym and then I'm going to work. It's just something they do. It's all, they get in their car and they drive here.
Yeah, so. It's very true, actually.
Yeah.
It creates that routine, that pattern.
Yeah, you want sustainable goals.
I probably could vouch for that, Jake. You've seen me up there a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe walking around, not sure what I'm doing, but I still turn up.
Yeah,
yes, it is my workplace, but I still turn up into the gym.
Just head upstairs.
But yeah, and it has been challenging, through that 8 weeks. I think most people have probably had some sort of illness along the way, the flu, COVID, whatever it is. So for any of our members that have got through the full 8 weeks, are looking forward to their end result scan, congratulations. It hasn't been the easiest conditions. It hasn't been the best weather, but we're really thankful for everyone being involved, and we hope that everyone's got something out of it, and looking so forward to the results and seeing our major winners, and then obviously then taking away some learnings, chatting with the team, and then getting ready for Feb for another launch of anher challenge as well.
Yep. And even for those members that, if you get your final scan and you think it's not as much as you would have liked, think about the positives along the way. I spoke to a few of my clients about how they feel, and they feel so much better. They're waking up in the morning, they've slept amazing, they've got energy, they're going to bed at night, and they've created these really healthy habits. So, it's not always about what the numbers are saying. It's a really good point. It's a general picture.
Yep.
So,
overall well-being.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many different metrics and things that you might not even take away at the start. So you might have, you wanted to see the scales change, but if you step back and look into it, do I feel happier? Am I going to the gym more regularly? Have I got less stress in my life? There's other, like Beck was saying, there's other metrics that you can go off that can be a positive that come out of the challenge that you might even not be aware of until reflecting back on where you were previously to where you are now.
Yeah, health is huge. It's not just, how much do I weigh, how much muscle do I have. It's, it's the recovery, it's the sleep, it's, the energy, it's all of it.
And that's that focus moving forward into 2023 for Casey Race especially, is that wellness and mental fitness, I guess. So, make sure that there'll be more classes that are broken out specifically for wellness around, it might be a yoga or a body balance or a recovery. So make sure that you do have a chat with some trainers in the group fitness trainers around, how do I get a good balance so that I do feel like I'm going home and I feel refreshed, and then I wake up the next morning refueled, ready to go for a big workout session potentially. So it's probably just being mindful of your own mental fitness as well. It might be some mindfulness that you might introduce, and I'm one that struggles to be able to do that mindfulness, but something that I'm willing to really try and start to adapt into my daily routine as well. So obviously that mental fitness, that you're ready to go and set myself up for a really big week, I guess.
Expanding on that a little bit further, all of those other factors away from the gym, your sleep, obviously nutrition, but even just your mindfulness and what's happening upstairs, that stuff can all play a huge factor with what happens in the gym and the numbers you see on the scale.
Yeah.
That stuff is so important. So it's a holistic approach for sure.
Christmas coming close as well, so don't be hard on yourself if you do pig out a little bit. It's okay to don't do too much, but it's okay. I guess you got to make sure you look after yourself, and that's what you're saying. Don't put that stress on yourself to be that person that that can't eat anything at Christmas Day because it'll ruin the scales. Look after yourself. Tell yourself it's going to be okay, and then get back in the gym and work it off.
If having that second serve of trifle is going to feel great, you know what? It's one day of the year. Let's have it. Let's get back to the gym a couple of days later and get stuck in.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Beck, for jumping on. It's been really good. I guess for our members that even aren't in a sporting organisation or playing sport, make sure you seek out Beck. She's full of information. She's more than willing to have a chat. Come and check her out in one of our classes and get involved. I'm going to make a commitment to get to the recovery session as well. So, make sure you're seeking out the trainers coming into Christmas. Look after yourselves. We'll be back next week with another podcast after the 8-week challenge as well, where we'll have a discussion around the results. So they're really looking forward to that and getting the winners out there. So, Beck, this is just a little thank you for jumping on from the team, from Nutrition Warehouse and Jake and myself. So thank you. And that's a wrap, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. See ya.